Thank God Make Mine Music isn't on Disney Plus. Maybe we can skip this one. I don't know how much more package films I can take.
Hey man, what are you doing?
Enjoying life.
Well, stop. We have to watch Make Mine Music. I got it on DVD right here.
What?
Dane, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, but do we really have to watch more package films? This video is brought to you by Undercover Tourist. Are you looking to plan a Walt Disney World, Disneyland, or Universal trip but don't know where to buy your tickets? Undercover Tourist has discounted Disney or Universal tickets. All you need to do is go on their website, click on the calendar when you want to go, and Undercover Tourist will give you the best price available. I usually get the 6-day Disney theme park base ticket with park hopper option for Disney World. But I do recommend the 4-day Disney theme park base ticket with 2 extra days, or the park ticket with option. Or for Universal, the 2-day park to park plus extra day, and for Universal Hollywood, the 1-day general admission non-peak ticket is a great offer that Undercover Tourist can give you. You can also find great deals on Orlando or Disney and Universal resorts. And the same goes for the West Coast, Disneyland resorts and Universal Studios Hollywood resorts. Or let's say you're a travel agent or travel agency looking to buy theme park tickets. You can do that for your clients or yourself. So go down in the description and hit that link so they know I sent you. And I hope you enjoy your vacation. Let's get to the video.
World War II had finally come to an end, and Walt Disney was itching to get back to making traditional, full-length feature films such as Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and Pinocchio. Unfortunately for him, though, the impacts of the war would be felt for years to come, and his company's first release following VJ Day would look somewhat different.
Make Mine Music, which Disney released the year after World War II ended, was the third of Disney's package films in this strange era for the company. Because the film was written and animated as the war was still raging on in Europe and Asia, many of the animators were still overseas, fighting for the Allies. The few animators that remained at Burbank decided to work on individual short films, as they had too few team members to create a large-scale production.
At this point, though, some time had passed since Disney's previous animated feature-length films, Saludos Amigos and The Three Caballeros, both package films themselves. Walt was concerned about audiences turning away from his company, as he was already quickly losing the commercial momentum he had gained before the war. As such, he met with his small animation team and requested that the team rework some of the shorts that were already in production.
These short films, which included Casey at the Bat and Johnny Fedora and Alice Bluebonnet, would be among 10 different short films composing a full-length feature film. Unlike Saludos Amigos and The Three Caballeros, though, these segments would be completely unrelated to each other, with the very genetic theme of musical styles being the only connective thread.
The connective thread itself was different for each segment as well, with each individual portion having an entirely unique art style and music style. Walt was concerned that audiences would be unwilling to view a film with no main characters to follow throughout the production, so he decided to invest in an all-star group of singers to perform each of the individual segments.
Popular American music groups such as the Kingsmen, the Ken Darby Singers, and the Andrews Sisters would each have a segment of their own. Iconic bandleader and composer Benny Goodman lent his music for a segment, while actress and singer Dinah Shore sang a ballad. Disney voice actor Sterling Holloway, who would later be known as the voices of such characters as Winnie the Pooh, the Cheshire Cat, and Kaa, narrated the Peter and the Wolf segment. One segment, Blue Bayou, was originally animated for Fantasia and intended to be accompanied by Claire de Lune in that film before being cut and eventually reused for Make Mine Music.
The finalized 10 segments of the film include The Martins and the Coys, Blue Bayou, All the Cats A Join In, Without You, Casey at the Bat, Two Silhouettes, Peter and the Wolf, After You've Gone, Johnny Fedora and Alice Bluebonnet, and The Whale Who Wanted to Sing at the Met. With a budget of $1.35 million, the film would make $3.28 million following its 1946 release by RKO Radio Pictures. Critics responded quite positively to the film upon its release, praising its artistic merit and beauty of many of the individual segments.
The years following this film's release would see many individual segments be released separately as short films before some of Disney's full-length theatrical films. A quick service restaurant based on Casey at the Bat would open at Walt Disney World called Casey's Corner on Main Street, and a picture of Willie the Whale can be seen in the queue for Mickey's PhilharMagic.
Interestingly, Make Mine Music has encountered more censorship than any other film in the Disney animated canon. The Martins and the Coys segment was entirely cut out from nearly all home releases of the film due to its gun violence. To this day, Make Mine Music is the only film in the Disney animated canon not available to stream on Disney+.
Clearly, this film is one of Disney's least remembered productions, but its many storylines and exceptional music quality make it worth rediscovering today.
I don't want them to make my music at all.
I don't want them to make any more music. I'm okay. I'm okay with them making music.
So we've got 10 different segments in this film. We start off with what the film refers to as a rustic ballad, The Martins and the Coys, which we actually had to find separately from the DVD that I gave you and shipped over to you from our intro of this video.
Very legal way of watching this movie. We had to find it separately, which, oh man, this is an interesting
on YouTube.
Short, man. Oh.
I'm surprised it's even on YouTube, truthfully.
Oh man, it's insane. So not only is the song insane because the lyrics are like something else. If you can somehow find the lyrics to this, it is wow. But the song isn't what's most insane about the short. The short is literally about two neighbors shooting each other pretty much, and
it's a take on the
Hatfields
and the McCoys.
Yeah. It's an insane concept to think about for a Disney animated feature.
And what gets me is that this is one of the best segments from this movie. That's what disturbs me so much.
Yeah, somehow it is. Somehow it is. It's also interesting because the story is a little bit of a Romeo Juliet kind of story, and it's very interesting. One shot in this movie, a specific silhouette in this movie, or in this short film, I should say. And there's a little bit of a theme throughout this entire movie of just objectifying women, I guess. They're very interesting. We're going to be using that word a lot in this review because it's very interesting the way that they portray women characters specifically in this film.
The women, the portrayals of the women and the violence in this film, I think, are the two things that were just very odd themes throughout that you wouldn't expect for a Disney movie, and you don't really want to see it for a Disney movie.
Especially during a wartime movie, because you would think that they would try to stay away from violence at this time just because of America's, thoughts on violence and the sort of controversy with the draft and everything like that. But they, They
didn't feel that way, apparently.
Yeah, no, certainly not.
All right, I would give this segment probably a 6 out of 10 for me personally, because the song is actually kind of catchy. The song is catchy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 6 out of 10 as well. Besides the violence, but it kept you entertained, unlike most of these most of these that I don't even remember the name of, and I have the notes right in front of me. Shorts.
Number 2. Called a tone poem. It is Blue Bayou.
Oh man,
that's the one that was supposed to be Claire de Lune in Fantasia, and I am glad they didn't put this in Fantasia because nothing happened.
Oh man, there's nothing happens in this entire short. It's a crane and background animation. Like they forgot. And this short directly went to the background artist. Like they forgot to do the
checks and the key art animation art. Like they forgot all of that and it just went straight to the background artist. Like I don't know how you make a film this bad with with animation, the art form of animation as its forefront thing. Usually those kind of films are beautiful. This was like, no. This was not there, it was not good art, like surprisingly enough.
It is the single most boring piece of animation I've ever seen. Although, just wait, when we get to melody time, there's a tone poem in there as well. Stay
There is.
tuned. Not like the music in the background helps any. The music in the
Oh, the
background is
music, it's
entirely unmemorable
terrible
too.
song. Yeah, terrible song. You don't understand what's going on with the crane. He's just kind of flying around and then they find what is assumed to be another what is assumed to be the partner of the crane, and then they fly all. It's like, what is happening here?
This is like lava, but if lava was worse
Well,
and didn't tell you what was
lava's a good
happening.
short. Lava's a good short.
I vibe with lava. I don't vibe with the Blue Bayou, and that's why I'm giving
I
it a
don't
1
vibe
out
with the
of
Blue
10.
Bayou crane.
The Blue Bayou crane, I'm glad he flies away at the end.
the
I'm glad he wasn't in the Disney 100 short. I don't need to see
Oh,
Blue
could you
Bayou crane
imagine?
anytime. I don't need a Blue Bayou crane meet and greet at Disney World. I don't
Oh,
need any of that.
bring the Blue Bayou Crane meet and greet to Disney. I am on my hands and knees praying.
1 out of 10
I
for
1 out of
sure.
10, absolutely.
So our third segment is a jazz interlude. All the cats join in. Now, if Blue Bayou had only backgrounds, all the cats join in and forgot the backgrounds.
You're right. They made this on colored construction paper, and and pretty much it's just. I mean, I enjoyed it. The song is good. It reminded me a
Song
lot of
saves
the
this segment.
yeah, the song absolutely carries this segment. I mean, the song absolutely carries, but I can't give it. I'm gonna give it a 3. I can't give it
Mhm.
higher than a 5, so I
I'm
think a 3
yeah,
is
I'm gonna
fair.
go 4 again just because the song is an absolute bop.
Yeah.
And I enjoy like late 1940s like music type culture with like the soda shops and all that.
Mhm.
But the animation is definitely not anything to write home about. So this is the one where we see a window and the guy's talking about being sad because like his wife died or something. And then you just kind of see some abstract shapes. And this is the one.
Did
Oh
we
yeah, that's
watch
literally
this? Like I don't even when you're describing it, it just doesn't ring a bell. I have no
for a
memory of
moment I
this.
thought this was the one where the cherub's butts form the heart, but that's two silhouettes as well. We don't even
Oh,
get to that
yeah,
one
yeah,
yet.
because
That
two
one's later.
silhouettes
This
is
one's
yeah.
literally just we see a
I
window and then we go through the
I, th-
window and it looks like it's raining or something, and then we zoom back out from the window.
I know what I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a 1 because like you can't I if you can't remember ever watching it, I don't think that it's gonna be good.
I'm going to
Maybe I
give it
should
a 2.
rewatch it.
The reason I'm giving it a 2 is because there is no Blue Bayou crane in this one.
Oh, dude, that's the reason I'm giving it a 1 because there is no blue bite crane on in this. So let's get to an actual good short now.
Yeah,
Casey
the
at the
movie's
bat.
just kind of dragging along, and
Yeah,
then bada bing, bada boom. What happens, Dane?
Casey at the bat. Banger of a short film. I think Casey's back hurts from carrying this short film and this movie so much. Um, I mean, great short, great short, great
Mhm.
short.
We would rewind it and watch certain parts of it again and again
Oh yeah,
because it was so good.
it's funny too. It's funny some of the stuff that happens in it, like the different players that you see and the different ways that they're absolutely terrible at baseball. And
I love this one. We're told it's a musical recitation, and the guy who's singing it does such a good job
mm,
making it humorous yet going through that classic poem. I mean, the animation's wonderful. My only major issue is all the unnecessary violence in this one. Like, there's a guy who takes a knife out to go after the umpire.
oh yeah, that's
That's not
right.
great.
Yeah,
But I mean, this short is memorable enough that it is now a restaurant at
it's a
Walt
very
Disney
very
World,
successful restaurant
Casey's
too.
Corner. And I think that alone shows that it has that lasting ability.
Yeah. Going strong with this one. I'm gonna give it a 9. I'm gonna give it a
Oh,
9.
wow.
I'm
Mhm.
just because I mean, compared to any other like, you know, compared to any if it would this would be in any other movie, like it would not be a 9. But
Mhm.
but because I want to go high with these
the scale that I've kind of developed is 1 is Blue Bayou. There's nothing that can really be worse than that. 10 is Bahia. I don't think there's anything that can be better than Bahia from Saludos Amigos. So this
Yeah.
one's an 8. Love the recitation of the poem, very entertaining, but also it's not anything terribly novel or anything fresh that I haven't seen before.
Two silhouettes,
The
man.
Ballad Ballet.
God, it is what it says. It's two silhouettes, you know. It's two live action people, probably just like on a green screen in the Disney lot somewhere, dancing away, and they have the cupids there and everything. It's bad. It's not good. It's not a good
Very
short
boring.
film.
Luckily, this is the last bad segment of the
Luckily,
movie,
luckily.
but it's not good by any stretch of the imagination.
I mean, we don't have to spend much time on this. I'm gonna give it a 3.
Oh, I was going to go 2, truthfully,
Oh, okay, okay.
just because there's nothing there.
Dude, Peter and the Wolf. What a
Fairy
classic
tale
that
with
is. What
music.
a
So
classic that
good.
is.
Let's start
Um,
with our narrator, Sterling
sure.
Holloway. He returns. We saw him in our last movie, The Three Caballeros, narrating Pedro the Penguin. And, obviously, as we talked about then, Winnie the Pooh, Cheshire Cat, Caw, Roquefort, very iconic voice. Great narrator.
Absolutely. Yeah, amazing narrator. And the way that they use the music to introduce the characters and what kind of instruments you'll be hearing when these characters are on screen. I really like that because I really like old-timey cartoons that like when there's a loud bang, you hear a loud drum, like the old Tom and Jerry cartoons.
They're very clear and upfront about it. You can tell that
Yeah,
this was made for a separate release because
certainly.
it's so much higher quality than a lot of the stuff in
Oh,
here.
it was also released on vinyl record with
Mm.
Sorcerer's Apprentice too.
Ooh, I can
Um,
see that. That's cool. I like
so
that they did that.
the actual story itself, we're back to guns. We're
Hmm.
back to specifically this
Once
time
again,
a little kid with a gun. But
what
what do
would
you
you give
give?
this?
I'm
Oh,
giving it an 8.
I'm also giving it an 8.
Yes,
Simply
sir. Let's
because
go.
Sonya the
Yes,
Duck
sir.
brings it down from a 9 to an 8 for me.
He does. He does. Um, the next one, After You've Gone.
Yes,
Um,
from the Benny Goodman Quartet, which I don't know how much you know about Benny Goodman. Big deal back in the 40s. Huge deal.
yeah. Um, good song, good music too.
Good song. Benny Goodman
Of
also
course.
did All the
You
Cats
know.
Join In music, so no surprise
Oh
there.
yeah,
He's carrying the music on his back for this movie.
he is. He is. He is.
Running instruments. I mean, we have this theory that the clarinet, that's the main character, is the most
Mhm.
powerful Disney character ever because it just does these
Yeah.
wild things in the segment, but not really a story.
I'm also really confused why this clarinet is prominently featured on the poster and the DVD and VHS release because like it's a nothing short. Like there's not
Hmm.
much that goes on in it, but he's still
Yeah.
like a prominent character in the movie. It's like,
Whereas Casey at the Bat and Willie the Whale and
yeah,
Peter and the Wolf are the iconic parts of this movie.
exactly.
But as
Yeah.
iconic as Make My Music can be at any rate.
I'm gonna give this one a 4.
That's fair. I'm gonna go a little bit higher. I'm gonna go a 6 for this one because I think
Mm.
the music is top notch and the animation carries my interest and I actually want to see what's happening next. Reminds me a little bit of Fantasia in that sense. So I'm gonna go
Sure.
6 for After You've Gone.
Mm.
Johnny Fedora and Alice Blew a Bonnet. Sung
Johnny
by the Andrews
Fedora just for
sisters.
some reason sounds like a New York guy. Like he sounds like an
It
Italian.
does.
He sounds like a guy that is dressed up in a black suit, black tie, white
Sounds like a bit of a
undershirt.
gangster.
Like yeah, like he said yeah, exactly. Like he's the kind of guy that goes you see at the deli eating a pastrami sandwich. Like
Mm.
he's that kind of person.
I love his character design though. The way that they used the brim to go up and look like a
Oh
mouth.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like genius character design
Yeah,
for Johnny Fedora.
very, very I wrote down good expression of love with um a non-human character because
Hmm.
it's almost like an early Toy Story because Toy Story, you know, takes toys, obviously they can't come to life. Um and it's kind of like a 2D Pixar movie because you take something like
Hmm.
a hat, especially really early in the 40s like this. Um you take something like a hat and make it come to life. But yeah, I feel like you could take this and rework it a little bit and it can have potential to be a feature. Like you can kind of do
Mm-hmm.
the thing that 101 Dalmatians did, where the hats kind of lead their owners to fall in love, or you can make another short film if it's not a feature that you want to make.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's potential with this sort of idea that you can branch on now.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Fedora and Bluebonnet get. I'm gonna go 8 again.
I'm going 8 as well. A really strong segment, really
Very strong.
strong.
Yes, The
Um,
Whale Who Wanted to Sing at the Met.
yeah,
Opera Pathétique. All
yeah.
performed by one person, which is insane.
Yes. This song goes so hard, dude. Like the opera is insane.
Mm-hmm.
The opera singing, like you said. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who the opera singer was. Do you have
Nelson
his
Eddy, I
name?
want to say. I
Yeah.
don't know why I know that.
um, yeah, but I mean, again, just taking something that cannot happen at all and explores, and it's taking something that you would never really think of. Like who else would think of a whale that can sing? Like of all the
Mm-hmm.
animals, you know what I mean? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it kind of does something really unique, and the ending is certainly unique.
I think this is the darkest ending of any animated Disney
Very.
film ever made.
Yeah, I think this only rivaled by Tarzan's what is it? What's his the
Clayton?
Clay? Yeah, by Clayton's death.
And the fact that we get to know this character, we get to love this
Yeah,
character, we see his hopes and dreams for the
yeah,
future, and then he gets killed, and we see him
yeah,
up in heaven.
and
Sure, we
it's
don't
so
even see him in heaven. He's just like we just
he
hear him
just
in heaven.
yeah, and it's so abrupt too. It's such an abrupt cut from his
Mhm.
daydream to just getting harpooned, where it's like,
Mhm.
whoa, like what are you doing?
Yeah, I remember when we were watching that. I know you said you hadn't seen the segment before, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
it.
So you
No.
seemed very shocked by it. Just if you don't know the ending, it makes sense that you'd be shocked. You would not expect the main character to be killed at the end of a Disney movie.
Yeah, but I do have to respect it because it's a good twist. That's what makes Rocky so good, right? Because you
Mhm.
think that he's going to win at the end of the movie, but then he
Mhm.
doesn't, and it's a huge twist. Same thing with this. You're like, oh, he's a big star, and then all of a
Mhm.
sudden, that was all a dream, and the greed of man, thinking that he had swallowed an opera singer, uh, takes that away from him. What are you gonna give this one?
I'm gonna give it a 9. I think this is the best one
I'm
in the film,
I'm
and
giving it a
it's deep.
9. I'm giving it a 9. I'm tying it. I think this one uh
Casey.
and Casey's are the best. Yeah, I like
Mhm.
Casey's a little bit more than Peter and the Wolf. If you guys have seen Make My Music before, let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by leaving a like and consider subscribing. It would make me a very happy man. Ryan, where can we find you?
Thanks, Dane. You can find my podcast, Cases of Continuity, streaming on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. I'm currently in season 2, just starting that up, digging through the original Sherlock Holmes books written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. If you want to hear more about the different adventures of the most famous fictional detective of all time, check me out at Cases of Continuity. New episodes drop Wednesday mornings.
I know I'm very excited for that, and I'm excited to. It's a little bit different of a thing, with a book series from what we're
Mhm.
doing here in your previous season. So, looking forward to that. And with that, I will see you all in the next one. Have a magical day, everybody.